You know, I had a really tough time getting up today. I went to bed early, but I had a very hard time waking up, and I had two two dreams that were kind of weird. One was of my deceased father, and it was just kind of strange. And then another one where people had broken into my house. Really weird. I don't want to bring that up, but I gotta say I'm striving for stoicism, but I do things that I know are not the best of strategy, and I know will probably not have a good outcome. And I'm doing it primarily out of my anger. And it's kind of like I'm diabetic type 2, so I got to stay away from sugar. And for the most part now, I'm able to not do it. I used to drink 2 liters of diet soda a day, and I don't do that anymore. So certain habits are certainly better than they used to be. But the habit of wanting to put some of these unhinged lunatic leftists in their place and prove them for what I see as the hypocrites that they are is overwhelming. Sometimes, well, I'm just not thinking about it. Like I just want to like prove them wrong. Which, first of all, they're not going to get it, and they will at best mock you, and uh, they're not going to see anything that the left does. To them, it's all the far right, or the far right is far worse than the left, even though the left has establishment power. I was actually tweeting out on people who were sad to see uh, Jen Psaki leave. I was tweeting out a Tim Pool video about Antifa and BLM uh, thugs blocking the road, and they had a confrontation with a person with a firearm. And Antifa, these individuals were armed as well. And it was a really good speech. He talked about what happened in New York when Antifa thugs cornered the Proud Boys, members of the Proud Boys, after Gavin McInnes had spoken. And they finally rushed them and attacked them. The Proud Boys finally, after they were being followed, they finally just rushed in and attacked them. And the police arrested the Proud Boys. Antifa did not cooperate. The Antifa members that were beaten up did not cooperate with the police. And even with no cooperative victims, I believe that the Proud Boys were successfully prosecuted in the beating. And it's just kind of strange that a group that actively goes out and attacks people isn't even nearly as thought of as bad as the group that defends themselves against them. I'm not saying that they don't also provoke, and there aren't unhinged Proud Boys as well. But of course, one group is far more protected by the establishment and by the police than the other. I remember watching a video, seeing a man being rushed by a group of Antifa, telling him to get out of here. And then the police says, don't go near there because we cannot protect you. And at that moment, I'm thinking, why do conservatives or rational people spend their money and not divest in a place that supports mobocracy? I mean, I don't believe in going in there and fighting them, because the police will arrest the people that are fighting Antifa and BLM, even though they're the ones who initiate force. So I don't know why it's not bigger that conservatives, you have your dollars, you have your money. Free thinking people, you have your dollars, you have your money. Why do you continue to spend your hard earned dollars on people that don't respect you? Why to go to the movies? Why go to ball fields? Why see people who play ball who are supporting this kind of infrastructure? They don't like you. They're not reasonable, and they're not rational. And human beings deserve reasonable, rational, and civil behavior. And those that don't support it, and those that are being that are doing things that are irrational and unreasonable and uncivil, shouldn't be spending your money with them. Shouldn't be spending your money with anything like them. And the sports teams and the athletes who support this kind of thing, they don't support rational, reasonable, and civil behavior. They may think they do, but they don't. So why watch them? You have your dollar. And again, I live in a city where a state that's not reasonable and not rational, and I may leave it. Fortunately, nothing's really happened to me, but I've been threatened by irrational and unreasonable people, by unhinged people. And nobody likes to be bullied. And nobody likes it when irrational and unreasonable people have control. Anyone who's grown up with a parent that is irrational and unreasonable knows even worse, because, like I said, and maybe we all do, but I had irrational and unreasonable parents. One anyway, the other one not so much. But it's kind of a crappy thing. And just like if you're living under the roof of an irrational and unreasonable person, you have to leave that home. And if you're in a state where the people are irrational and unreasonable, you may have to leave that state or make plans to leave it. Maybe you can't, but I think the best thing that you can do is strive to leave where the people are rational, reasonable, and civil. Yes, there's been an Arizona audit, and we can't even necessarily talk about that. We can't talk, I guess, about the vaccine. We can't talk about the pandemic that's going on in this country. I mean, even if we do it in an unemotional and reasonable manner, what is the best course of action? Anyway, folks, this was just kind of a rant. And I'll say it again, when someone like Brian Stelter says freedom of speech does not mean freedom of reach, he doesn't believe in freedom of speech. Because I can say, even in a totalitarian country, I can say whatever I want in my bathroom or in a closet. Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. And I'll repeat what I said. You are entitled to reasonable, rational, and civil behavior. If those people don't give it to you, then you walk away. And if the place you're living at doesn't give it to you, it might be a good idea to leave that place. Like and subscribe. And remember, perfection is the enemy of progress. Thank you for listening.